Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Longing. Today we will be continuing to read the Iliad by Homer, and hopefully we won't get the bug we got yesterday. So, let's continue. What thoughts regardless chief thy breast employ? Oh, too forgetful of the friends of Troy. Those generous friends who from their country far breathe their brave souls out in another's war. See where in dust the great Sarpedon lies, in action valiant and in counsel wise, who guarded right and kept his people free, to all his Lycians host and lost to thee. Stretched by Patroclus' arm on yonder plains, O save from hostile rage his loved remains. Ah, let not Greece his conquered trophies boast, nor on his course revenge, nor her heroes lost. He spoke, each leader in his grief partook, Troy at the loss through all her legions shook. Transfixed with deep regret they view o'erthrown, at once his country's pillar and their own. A chief who led to Troy's beleaguered wall a host of heroes and outshined them all. Fired they rush on, first Hector seeks the foes, and with superior vengeance greatly glows. But o'er the dead the fierce Patroclus stands, and rousing Ajax roused the listening bands. Heroes, be men, be what you were before, or weigh the great occasion and be more. The chief who taught our lofty walls to yield lies pale in death extended on the field. To guard his body Troyan numbers flies, 'tis half the glory to maintain our prize. Haste, strip his arms and the slaughter round him spread, and send the living Lycians to the dead. The heroes kindle at his fierce command, the martial squadrons close on either hand. Here Troy and Lycia charge with loud alarms, Thessalia there and Greece oppose their arms. With horrid shouts they circle round the slain, the clash of armour rings o'er all the plain. Great Jove, to swell the horrors of the fight, o'er the fierce armies pours pernicious night, and round his son confounds the warring hosts, his fate ennobled with a crowd of ghosts. Now Greece gives way, and great Epygeus falls, Agacleus' son from Budium's lofty walls, who chased for murder thence a suppliant came, to Peleus and the silver-footed dame. Now sent to Troy Achilles' arms to aid, he pays due vengeance to his kinsman's shade. Soon as his luckless hand had touched the dead, a rock's large fragment thundered on his head. Hurled by Hectorean force it cleft in twain his shattered helm and stretched him o'er the slain. Fierce to the van of fight Patroclus came, and like an eagle darting at his game, sprung on the Trojan and the Lycian band. What grief thy heart, what fury urged thy hand, O generous Greek, when with full vigour thrown, at Sthenelos flew the weighty stone, which sunk him to the dead when Troy too near, that arm drew back and Hector learned to fear. Far as an able hand a lance can throw, or at the lists, or at the fighting foe. So far the Trojans from their lines retired, till Glaucus turning all the rest inspired. Then Bathycleus fell beneath his rage, the only hope of Chalcon's trembling age. Wide o'er the land was stretched his large domain, with stately seats and riches blessed in vain. Him bold with youth and eager to pursue, the flying Lycians Glaucus met and slew. Pierced through the bosom with a sudden wound, he fell and falling made his fields resound. The Achaeans sorrow for their heroes slain, with conquering shouts the Trojans shake the plain, and crowd to spoil the dead the Greeks oppose, an iron circle round the carcass grows. Then brave Laugonus resigned his breath, dispatched by Merion to the shades of death. On Ida's holy hill he made abode, the priest of Jove, and honoured like his god. Between the jaw and ear the javelin went, the soul exhaling issued at the vent. His spear Aeneas at the victor threw, who stooping forward from the death withdrew. The lance hissed harmless o'er his covering shield, and trembling struck and rooted in the field. There yet scarce spent it quivers on the plain, sent by the great Aeneas's arm in vain. Swift as thou art, the raging hero cries, and skilled in dancing to dispute the prize. My spear the destined passage had it found, had fixed thy active vigour to the ground. O valiant leader of the Dardan host, insulted Merion thus retorts the boast. Strong as you are, 'tis mortal force you trust, an arm as strong may stretch thee in the dust. And if to this my lance thy fate be given, vain are thy vaunts, success is still from heaven. This instant sends thee down to Pluto's coast, mine is the glory, his thy parting ghost. O friend, Menoetius' son this answer gave, with words to combat ill befits the brave. Not empty boasts the sons of Troy repel, your swords must plunge them to the shades of hell. To speak beseems the council, but to dare inglorious action is the task of war. This said, Patroclus to the battle flies, great Merion follows, and new shouts arise. Shields, helmets rattle in the warriors close, and thick and heavy sounds the storm of blows. As through the shrilling vale or mountain ground, the labours of the woodman's axe resound. Blows following blows are heard re-echoing wide, while crackling forests fall on every side. Thus echoed all the fields with loud alarms, so fell the warriors and so rung their arms. Now great Sarpedon on the sandy shore, his heavenly form defaced with dust and gore, and stuck with darts by warring heroes shed, lies undistinguished from the vulgar dead. His long disputed course the chiefs enclose, on every side the busy combat grows. Thick as beneath some shepherd's thatched abode, the pails high foaming with a milky flood. The buzzing flies a persevering train, incessant swarm and chase return again. Jove viewed the combat with a stern survey, and eyes that flashed intolerable day. Fixed on the field his sight his breast debates, the vengeance due, and meditates the fates, whether to urge their prompt effect, and call the force of Hector to Patroclus's fall. This instant see his short-lived trophies won, and stretch him breathless on his slaughtered son, or yet with many a soul's untimely flight augment the fame and horror of the fight. To crown Achilles' valiant friend with praise, at length he dooms, and that his last of days shall set in glory bids him drive the foe, nor unattended see the shades below. Then Hector's mind he fills with dire dismay, he mounts his car and calls his hosts away. Sunk with Troy's heavy fates he sees decline the scales of Jove, and pants with awe divine. Then nor before the hardy Lycians fled, and left their monarch with the common dead. Around in heaps on heaps a dreadful wall of carnage rises as the heroes fall. So Jove decreed, at length the Greeks obtain the prize contested, and despoil the slain. The radiant arms are by Patroclus borne, Patroclus' ships the glorious spoils adorn. And with that, we come to the end of the episode. So I will once again say thank you very much for joining today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night, no matter what time of day it is. I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.